Former Australian cricket legend, Mike Whitney, hello to you.
Hey, Joel. How you going, mate? Justin Horo. Lovely to talk to you, mate. How you going?
Good to chat to you again, Mike.
Where do we
Wasn't
find
that
you
long
today,
ago, brother?
Mate, yeah, it's a couple of weeks ago, Sugar. So me and Mike were at New South Wales Golf Club.
Yep.
At an event for Imagine Golf. I think I ended up coming on and I did the show after it. Mate, we just went through a really good event with Imagine, hosting our Rugby League Golf Day. And I was telling Sugar early on, you got a massive day coming up with them in a month's time, and you're going to be doing the cricket side of things with Imagine, aren't you, mate?
Yeah, we've teamed up with Imagine, and we're having a day on November the 6th at Terry Hills Golf Club in conjunction with our club, Cricket Club Randwick Petersham, to celebrate our 25th anniversary, because I only ever played for Randwick. But 25 years ago, we merged with Petersham Marrickville to create a new club. So that's part of our 25th celebrations on November 6th. And that was a great breakfast, mate. You spoke beautifully, and everybody was fantastic that morning. And what a great day at it.
Oh, thanks, Mike.
New South Wales Golf Club. You were fantastic, Justin.
How good's that, mate? Where can people? Are tickets still available? And can you drop a few names, mate? Can you let people know who might be attending? Can you give away that information?
Yes, I can on the Imagine Golf site. So you go onto their website, Imagine Golf, I think it's .com.au. Well, our biggest guest is Sir Ian Botham. I got in contact with Beefy and said, can you play on the day? Dan Christian, Phil Emery, Jeff Lawson, myself, Shane Lee, Richard Cheekwee. Oh, geez, another half a dozen that'd kill me because I can't remember. But wow. Most teams have got an ex-New South Wales or Australian player playing in their side.
Awesome stuff, Whit. We love that. Now, I don't know if you may not know the news because it literally just happened. New South Wales taking on Victoria. Boland in the very first over. Third ball, knocks over Sam Konstas. Did you see that, Whit?
Yeah, I was watching.
Oh, wow.
I was hoping you weren't going to mention it, Joel. But
I know.
Yeah, we had them 5 for 60 odd early in the day. It was doing plenty, and big fight back. Peter Hanscombe and Perry batting 7 down the order. I think Hanscombe got 80 and Perry got 60 odd. Todd Murphy got a few at the end, but yeah, we've just gone in and Sam's out first over, and I know the selectors are there as well, so that won't be good for Sam. But mate, Scott Boland's a gun. He's an absolute amazing. Yeah, how lucky are we to have him sitting in the shed after the other three? And sad to hear Pat's injured with his back, but he's not a bad reserve. Scotty Boland.
He's got to be the greatest reserve in any sport, I reckon, Scotty Boland. Let's put you on the spot, Whit. So let's just say the team, and if you've got any arguments with this, we've got a few spots to fill in. Let us know, but we want you to select your 11 as it stands. So if you had Smith at 4, shout out if you disagree with anything. 5 Head, we'll come back to 6. 7 Carey, 8 Stark, 9 Boland, 10 Lyon, 11 the big fella Hazelwood.
Yep.
Do you agree with all that so far?
Yep.
So let's talk about number 6. Webster is got an injury concern. Green's still troubled back. And then you got the Bison there. Have you got an option for number 6?
Matt Short, Jack Edwards from New South Wales. He's got wickets and come back. Captain Australia. Had a really good tour with them.
Yep. So who are we locking in?
But Short's. What about Short? Where's he placed?
Yeah. No, wherever you want, mate. You can put him wherever you like.
He's just been added to Sugar's 11, actually, Mike. So there's an option.
Yeah, he's got to be. Matt Short's a very, very good player, mate. Bo Webster's a gun player, but under an injury cloud.
Okay, fair enough. All right, we'll lock in Matt Short at number 6. Number 1 and 2. 1, 2, and 3, really.
Well, Usman's got to be picked, hasn't he?
Yep. What numbers are you wearing?
1.
Number 1, Aussie. Yep. So we need to find 2 and 3.
Marnus has got to come into consideration now. He made 300s, in basically a week up in Brisbane. So he's found a bit of mojo again, and he would have been working really hard to do that. He's a nuffy, and he would have dived right down the rabbit hole to try and work out why he couldn't score a run.
Yep.
So he's got to be considered. Whether they want to open with him or bat him 3, I don't know. I don't see him as an opener, but I can see him as a 3.
Okay, let's lock him in at 3 because your old mate, Matty Hayden, was on the network this morning and he said, Scope, he would not open him.
Yeah, Mike. Matty Hayden was on earlier and he said he definitely wouldn't put him in opener just because of the stint that he's had off. We were on last week's show, we were talking about some great Australian cricketers that have had an extensive break, maybe a year or two away from the Australian team, and then come back at the later part of their career and really excelled. Has it been a long enough break for Marnus? I know he's just scored some runs recently, but considering that there was all the chat around at least dropping him to get that form back, is it too soon, or is his form just too good, mate? He's got to get straight back into the team.
Mate, I reckon if he makes another score or looks good the next time he goes out to bat, I think he's pretty much in. Every great player, there's very few that I can think of, Justin, over the last 30-odd years. Everybody has one of these moments where they get in and they blast away when they're young and bang, they go through this horror run. Steve Waugh did it, Mark Waugh did it, Tubby Taylor did it, all the guys I played with. And you're right, mate, when they came back, they've had time to really sit down and think about their game, readjust a couple of things. And the adjustments at that level are made are so fine and so tiny. And so the increments are so small. But, you know, these batsmen, man, they're real. It's like us with the bowling. We're looking at just fractions of a movement to get a better position with the ball. And the batsmen are looking at everything. So I think he's ready to come back. I think it's been enough time. He's a fine player, man. He's a fighter. He's an absolute fighter. He'll keep throwing punches till the last ball of the day, Marnus, and they're the sort of people you want out in the middle.
One final piece of the puzzle, Whit. Who do you see
walking
out with
don't, Joel.
opening the bat? Who do you see? Who do you see walking out with Aussie in that first test?
Well, yeah, look,
Gut
you know, I'd love to see Sam there, but no, look, he played on a very difficult wicket in Perth in the Shield game over there. I watched the start of that, mate. They took the covers off on day one. It had been raining overnight. There was steam coming off the wicket, and Joel Paris was swinging it around, mate. He was swinging it half a metre.
Wow.
So none of the opening batsmen got runs over in Perth. This was a game where he needed to get some runs. If he gets a big 100 in the second innings, that'll really help him. Up to that, I can't pick another opener yet. I'm flipping a coin, looking at people who are scoring, trying to score runs opening the batting. There's not too many that have scored big runs opening the batting, I think. I'd have to flick through that first game, but I think it's still up for grabs in this round of the second round of the Shield.
So would you consider Marnus then, Mike, because of that, or or Matty
as
Hayden?
an opener?
Yeah, as an opener.
No, I don't like him as an opener. Opening the batting, Justin's just such a bizarre thing. You've got to be a certain type of dude to want to go out there and face people bowling 90 miles an hour at your head. And the technique involved is incredible. Marnus can open the batting. I'm not saying he's not good enough to open the batting, but I'd rather see him at three. Threes, you regard as the best player on the side. You need to be able to open the batting if one of the openers gets out in the first over. If the openers kick off and you're none for 50, 60, 70, and then someone gets out, you've got to come in and keep the run scoring going. Like Greg Chappell, all the great number threes, AB, all of them could do that. And I think Marnus is a good enough player to do that. So in my 11, I've got to find another opener.
Scopey, I've read this book before, right? So young Sammy will be trying to clip this up and have Wits starting 11 in the first test, and number 2 will be a TBC. Remember that Queensland team where they wanted to give Lottie extra time? So because he was going through suspension, and so they just named a TBC on the wing. So therefore,
I don't remember that.
Yeah, so therefore he could play essentially for the NRL that week to serve the suspension. And then they smuggled him into State of Origin. So Whit's kind of trying to do a TBC, I think, for Sammy Konstas. How you been,
Thanks,
Whit, anyway? What's been happening in your world?
Pretty good, although midway through the year, unfortunately, I had to go and have some surgery on my neck. So I had three discs removed out of my neck and 3 artificial discs put in there. And that was creating a bit of a problem with my nervous system. So I was starting to walk a bit dodgy. My hands were numb as well. So then I had to go and have carpal tunnel surgery on my hands. So that wasn't a couple of good months, but I'm back on deck now. And summer's here, Joel. You know, I'm president of Randwick Petersham Cricket Club. So that's going really good. We've had a good run in first grade and the club's really buoyant. As I said, it's our 25th year. And then 18 months ago, before all this happened, I started a podcast with a few mates of mine. And that's been a bizarre experience because I said to them at the time, there's 10,000 podcasts out there. Like, who's going to listen to our rubbish? But we started it. It's called How's That, the podcast. And we've had an amazing amount of people on already, including musicians, because the 2 guys I'm doing it with are basically musos. Love their sport, but they're musos. We've had Richard Clapton on. We've had Angry Anderson on. We've had Steve Balby, John Brewster from the Angels, Rose Carlio, who was on The Voice not that long ago, Rick Grossman, who played bass for Matt Finish, Divinals in the Hoodoo Gurus. And then the sport, wow, who have we had on? Sean Garlick not that long ago, Blocker Roach the other day, Dougie Walters and Lenny Pascoe, two of my old mates. We've had Danny Weidler and Paul Kent on.
I'm hearing
Josh Knight, who was running.
You've had Vossi as well, Mike? You've had SEN's Vossi
We've had Vossi on.
Yep.
We've had Vossi on. We did Vossi over in Vegas, and that's the other thing that happened. When we started the podcast, Vegas, the first year of Vegas was on a couple of months after that. So we went, let's take the podcast to Vegas. So we did some people over there, which was fascinating. Then we went back last year as well for year 2. So we've decided that we're going to do the 5 years of Vegas and call those tapes the Vegas tapes, put that in the history of rugby league in Vegas. And I've got to say, the first 2 years has just been unbelievable. Last year, after year 1, I thought, can't be any bigger than that. Well, I was mistaken there because last year was just amazing. So, and doing a few speakies like this one I'm doing with, we haven't mentioned it, with Sir Ian Botham and Adam Gilchrist out at the Bella Vista.
Yeah, I might have two for you, Whit. So when we finish this, stay on the line with the boys and I'll get your details because, but this one at Bella Vista Hotel, Sportsman's Lunch, Ashes Edition, Thursday, October 30, tickets at bellavistahotel.com.au. What are your most vivid memories of taking on the old enemy?
Well, I met Beefy when I got pulled out of obscurity in 1981, 5th Test, Old Trafford, Ashes series, and I was just playing some league cricket and a couple of county games for Gloucester, and I got pulled out of obscurity to play the 5th Test. And Ian was playing for England, and that Ashes series ended up being called Botham's Ashes. So I met him 44 years ago. I've had a few big nights out with Beefy, don't worry about that. And the insane thing about Beefy is he's now Lord Baron Sir Ian Botham.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's just crazy. And Gilly, look, I've known Gilly for over 30 years, and they're two of the greats. So got a lot of great stories. That should be a great day.
Beautiful, mate. Look, thanks for sharing a party day with us, Whit. Good luck to your bunnies next year as well. Can they turn it around under the great man Wayne Bennett? But you got to get yourself out there, folks. The Bella Vista Hotel, Sportsman's Lunch, Ashes Edition, Thursday, October 30. Tickets at bellavistahotel.com.au. Mike Whitney, you're a gem. Thanks so much, mate.
Good on you, Joel. Thanks, mate. Good on you, Justin. Lovely to talk to you, boys.
Yeah, what a legend, hey? What such a affable, lovable, likable, just champion.
Mate, like he said, because he had gone through the surgery, he wasn't able to play golf, but he attended, and he's got his cricket golf day coming up, and I went and introduced myself straight away, and he's obviously really polite. Yeah. We got talking, and we started talking about how my dad had just been through surgeries recently, so we really connected and had a good chat about that. But I was just blown away by how easy it was to talk to him. Such a big star, like growing up as well. Not only the cricket career, but when I was growing up, all over TV. So, really like, and it feels like we're going to be linked now for the next couple of years because we're going to be doing the golf day every year with the rugby league players, and I feel like Mike's going to be doing his cricket day. I wish I could be there. I said to him, we've got the Ashes tour coming up. Yep. So we're going to be travelling over to UK. So unfortunately, I won't be able to attend. But I said to him, if you keep doing it every year,
he's going on Ashes, and you're running away to another Ashes.
There you go. The Ashes is on. It's been 23 years since we've had a rugby league Ashes, but believe it or not, it's on over in the UK. So I'm going the other way. But I would have loved to have been back here and attended his golf day. And a legend, couldn't speak highly enough.
Mate, he likes. I felt for him. He had that neck operation. What did he say? 3 disc replacements. Yeah. He does things in threes, Whit. He's got triplets. Did you know that? Yeah.
Oh, no, he's got triplets?
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Okay. He tells one of the great yarns. He talks to people about his greatest hat-trick. And he's got triplets. Yeah.
That's
Mike
awesome.
Whitney. What a legend.
That'll be a great gig. So where's that at? Bella Vista Hotel?
Bella Vista Hotel,
Make sure you get out. There'll be some great stories.
Mate, Bella Vista Hotel, massive. Buzz Rothfield and others had hosted out there recently. They reckon it's an absolute ripper of a place. Now, Panther 616 is back in Penrith. And I would say this, one of the very few whose last time in a Panther jersey was a winner, Scope, was a winner. We're talking about a very good friend of the show and premiership winner, Jackie Cogger joins the show again. G'day, Jack.
Hey, guys. Always love coming on. Thanks for having me.
I think we may be in better spirits at this stage. Maybe, I'm not sure. Now, Scopey, the mail is he's just come back from his Bucks party.
Oh, stop it.
How'd you survive, mate?
Just survived. It's been a couple of days of recovery. It actually felt like a played a game on Monday morning, but I survived.
What, so just on the weekend, Jack? You had it on the weekend, mate?
Yeah, just the weekend gone.
Oh, that's a tough carry.
Where'd you go?
We had a bus trip up to Port Macquarie for the Port Macquarie Cup for the races, and then a bit of a pub crawl on the Saturday, and then a very sad and sorry bus trip home.
What was the size of the gang, Jack? How many numbers did you have there?
There's probably, I think, all up there's 22 of us.
Yeah, that's good numbers.
So, yeah, good sized team.
And where's the bus trip back? Like, are you back in Sydney now already, or are you still up in Newcastle?
Still in Newcastle, so
Right.
return to Newcastle. Yeah, and everyone's scattered from here.
Oh, good on you, mate. When's the wedding?
We got a month, so yeah, I made sure we had plenty of time to recover before the actual, the main event happens in a month's time.
Was it synchronised bucks and hens?
It was actually,
Yeah.
yes. So they look like they had a very similar time to us. Painting and yoga and all that type of stuff.
Oh, yes, of course. Of course.
That's a smart play going so far out. Historically, like with people back in the day, they used to do it so close. They used to do it the week of or the weekend before.
Smart. This box is real smart.
Mate, you got to give yourself some distance, don't you?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
You do,
That's
absolutely.
the play.
Absolutely, mate. Well, you've got an exciting 6 months or so coming up. You've got the wedding not too far away. You returned to sender. You kept the receipt and said, Ivan, I've kept the receipt. I want to come back.
Yes, now I'm really excited for the move. It all happened. Yeah, obviously I've got a wedding and that to get through, but then straight from there. I think a week after the wedding, I head down to Penrith and start that journey, which I hope I can be part of further success at the Panthers.
Can I ask, can you share with the listeners, Jack, how that actually happened? Like, is it your manager talking to the club? Is it a direct call from Ivan? How does your return to Penrith come of age?
Well, I think it was pretty clear. Things weren't working for myself at Newcastle, and not through a lack of trying. I wanted to work so bad, but some things just, it's harder you try, a bit like quicksand.
Yeah.
It gets worse, and I felt like that, and the club made a decision. Early in this, or the Knights made a decision early in 2025 that to bring in Dylan, and then my opportunities would become less, which is fine. And so I was, I suppose, given the permission to look around, and I was just lucky enough that one of the guys that returned my call was Ivan. And long story short, after a few conversations, we were able to get a deal across the line, and I'll be back there.
Jack, I seen a podcast probably about a month ago, actually. Tom Jenkins, one of the great stories of the season, mate. Similar situation to you. Had a time at Penrith, went to Newcastle, didn't quite work out, and he talked about. He actually mentioned you, mate. He said he was one of the people that you spoke to. Look, I'm considering going back, and what do you think? And now you're doing the same, mate. So what is it about, without talking down Newcastle, because I've been in situations like that where you leave clubs and you've got to move on, and it's better for your career. What's the one part about Penrith that you might not have realised you missed so much once you got to Newcastle?
As I said, it's a hard one to answer. But I think, I don't think there's anything wrong with either club. I just think individuals suit different environments, different cultures, and that was me. As I said, I couldn't have tried any more, and I think I'd like to think, I can't answer for them, but I'd like to think the Knights couldn't have tried any harder to make it work. But some things just don't work. Someone said to me, you can't, banana trees, they just don't grow in Victoria. They just, as hard as you try, you water them as much as you want.
Yeah.
They don't work.
That's good
See,
stuff.
that's a good quote.
Try and it doesn't.
That's a great quote, Mr. Banana. You're going back to being a banana next year, which is, mate, fantastic. It really is. But can I just ask, and again, it's not to have a pot shot at the Newcastle Knights, and you're speaking very well about them. You come from a team who's won premiership after premiership after premiership, and you go to a team who ultimately gets the wooden spoon. Is the training levels spheres apart, or is that unfair to say that?
I think they can get where they are, a long way apart. But all the the pre-seasons, all of those things are very, very similar. I think when you find yourself struggling, like we were this year, everything just becomes harder. The simple passes, simple stuff you do at training. And I don't know, if I knew the answer to that, we probably wouldn't have come last. I don't know why that is, but I wouldn't say the whole time they are, but when things get hard, they really do get hard.
What about on the Panthers, Jack? You obviously would have been fully focused on what you're trying to do at Newcastle, but I'd imagine just like me and Shug, when you played at a team, you watched your old team with interest for sure. Such a slow start to last year. Are they even more dangerous? Are you guys even more dangerous next year, considering that it looked like there'd been so much change over the last couple of years, and you're one of those players that had moved on and had been a part of that change, that they finally started to figure out. And considering that they were, 2 or 3 minutes away from beating Brisbane.
Mate, they were away from? Payne Haas scrambling, planting the ball down. When they went the grubber kick through, Blaze would have scored.
Huge call.
And they're off to a grand final.
Huge play, huge play. Look, I was one of those players that went the early crow, one of the worst early crows of all time. I said the Panthers weren't going to make the 8, mate. Absolute egg on my face by the end of it, because they just got their rhythm going. And like I said, mate, I think you guys are going to be even more dangerous next year.
Yeah, I hope so. Obviously, I think any team that has Nathan Cleary steering the ship, you wouldn't want to back against them, and he'll obviously be there next year. And I think if you saw Ivan and Naif's press conference after that Brisbane game,
I did.
Gave me goosebumps going back there. So, I'd like to think, in for another year of success next year.
Hey, Jack, just for the former team, Newcastle, and to get the Knights up and about, with all that time spent at training and playing games, and if the Knights were buying big shares in a youngster, who impressed you the most of those good kids coming through?
It's a lot of, obviously, Sharpie. He's had a couple of seasons there. Now, this year had that pretty awful injury, and then the other Fletcher Hunt. He didn't even do pre-season with us going into the year. Just rocked up the week of his debut, or a couple of weeks before his debut, and then, we'll pretty much cemented himself in the team after that. So, and was probably one of our better performers as well. So probably the two Fletchers. I think they're going to be pretty. If you're a Knights fan, you want to hang on to those two going forward.
Hey, Scopey, Fletcher Hunt. So obviously Fletcher Sharp.
Yep.
But Fletcher Hunt, and I didn't know he hadn't done a off-season with you boys. Hey, what I love about him, he's in the frame. He's just a competitor.
Competes.
He just wants to compete and be in the frame.
Yeah, speaking of Fletcher Sharp as well too, Jack, had a golf day last week or a week and a half ago. It was so good to see Fletcher out there playing golf. I'd imagine there are steps that he's got to go through in the process to get back out on the field. He actually, when all the boys were staying for the golf day, we ordered a few beers after.
Yep.
He got in his car, didn't drink on the day because he had to get back and had training the next day, and he was doing getting back into some running.
Wow.
But I got a huge opinion of him, Jack. I think he's going to be a real player, and it's great to just see him at least back out on the training paddock, and hopefully he can start the 2026 season on the field, mate.
Yeah, I hope so. I think it was an awful injury that he came up with, and look back, I'm pretty sure that was the last game we won during the year. So, if that's anything to add to how valuable he was to us, we'll see at the start of next year when he hopefully makes his full recovery.
Jack, I know that Justin Holbrook coached Nathan Cleary at the younger level, whether it was under 19s or Australian schoolboys, and I know that you played with him at one of those two. Did you get coached by Holbrook?
No, never got to meet Justin, unfortunately.
So where did you and Nathan play together? Was it Australian schoolboys?
Schoolboy, and all the Triple C or the level before that as well.
Yep.
And just playing against each other, we were obviously the same age. So, in our schools, both our schools are actually in Division B of the GAO Cup, or I don't know if it's still called that, Arrive Alive, and we used to see each other in that a fair bit.
What's pre-season look like at Penrith, mate? Even this year more so than others. Hey?
My hairs are standing up thinking about it.
Yeah, no, just I'm talking about pre-season, right? So when I arrived at Manly, we had about 5 or 6 players that were involved in. Back in those days, it was predominantly Australia and New Zealand, and there wasn't as much with Tongan, Samoan teams and Fijian teams. Like, how many players are actually going to be at pre-season for you guys, Jack, when you get back to pre-season, mate?
I'm pretty sure, I think there's like 11 or 12 of the starting 13 are playing some type of rep footy. So I won't see any of them till after Christmas. But I think that like the staff are actually really excited because it's the first time in a number of years where the club's actually had 5 or 6 weeks after Christmas. Obviously, last year had Vegas, year before the World Club Challenge, and then it was COVID the years before that. So it's actually going to be probably the actual pre-season. I know they're not going to be in before Christmas, but that's another exciting thing coming off the loss this year is that there's going to be a solid amount of work that we can get before round 1.
As they can't keep them. Actually, I wouldn't want to comment on this, Jack. The news, I'm not sure if you saw it today, about the R360. You know, if a player was to go to the R360 and they may be prevented from coming back, have you got a view from a playing point of view?
Yeah, I understand what the NRL is trying to do to protect our game. I think I'm not sure if that's going to put silence to this Rugby 360. Just doing that, I think it's probably to be continued, that storyline. Because I understand why players would be so enticed to go over. You know, your career short. You both know that, and whatever you can do to make. To set your future up for you and your family, I think you'd be silly not to look at it. So, all I can say on that is I think I'm not sure just what's coming out today is going to be the end of it.
Yeah, I think we can agree on that. There's so much grey area, mate. Is there any regrets that you actually signed too early with Panthers before letting R360 know you've got a rugby union background as well, even if it's telling a few porkies?
Look, I think for me the greatest kind of acknowledgement probably of my career was when the Panthers called and said, they asked for one to come back, and I think if they thought I can add to their culture and their standards that they've put in place at the club, even if that means wherever I fit into the squad, I'm not exactly sure yet. But to me, just getting that phone call was a pretty good acknowledgement for me personally, anyway.
Jack Cogger, gee, you're impressive, mate, and that's why we love having you on. And the more and more I'm speaking to you, I kind of feel like, am I speaking to Ivan Cleary? You're so measured, and every question you've got answered well. Do you have ambitions to coach?
I've done a little bit the start of this year with the Newcastle Knights, Harold Matts, and helped out Steve Simpson, who was coaching them. And it was the first time I've kind of dabbled in a bit of coaching, and it was something I really enjoyed. And I think, in the future, something I'd probably like to do, but I also see the other side of it when things aren't going too well, and that makes you probably maybe second guess that a little bit. But maybe down the track is something I would definitely jump into.
Well, just while I'm coaching as well, a guy I grew up with, good mate of mine, Benny Harden, he would have been at the club. He's been at the club during your stint there as well, Jack. Just like you're losing all players, you know how they lose. Yeah. They constantly lose players over the years. They've lost assistant coaches. Benny Gardner's going to be heading over to WA. I heard that Benny Harden was promoted to assistant coach, mate, as well. Have you had many conversations, and what's your relationship like with Benny?
Yeah, no, get along with Benny really well. He was the New South Wales Cup coach when I was there in 23, and I only spoke to him last week, actually, when everything was confirmed, to, I suppose, one, catch up and see what, our pre-season is going to look like, but also congratulate him on the role. I think it's a pretty cool thing at the Panthers that I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure Benny started as a Harold Matts coach at the Panthers.
Yeah, I think
he's
he did.
Gone through the grades, SG Ball, Cup, and now with the first grade squad. So I think that's a pretty good achievement for him, but also, it's good to see the club, promoting not only players, but coaches as well.
Jack, they've loved having you on, the listeners. Keeper, as every time you come on. Very impressive. We can see why you're going back to Penrith. Congratulations on that reappointment. Congratulations on surviving the Bucks party.
You got to read that text out.
Okay. Apparently, Jack's sister Mel can outdrink him, but he won't admit it. Says Toddy.
It's not hard. It is not hard at all.
That's a good quality, mate, trust me. One final thing, just ahead of your wedding, and all the best, Jack, to you and your partner. Who's your best man, and what sort of risk level is it for the best man speech? Because that's a big part of your night.
No, I've got my brother.
Yeah.
I was his best man a few years back, and I took it pretty easy on him, but I did finish on a good line, so I'll be worried all the way to the very end.
Okay, mate. Hey, well done, Jack, on all those things, and have yourself enjoy the rest of the off season you got coming up, and great to have you on again, mate.
Thanks, guys. Talk soon.
You're still here? We'll see more on the Joel and Fletch socials and catch us live on SEN Radio. Because if you don't, you're an A grade. But if you do, you're the absolute Mickey.